Again, I am going to do the practice exercise, the chart of accounts with you here, and I'll go through it step by step so that you'll be able to do the next exercise on your own. So we're going to do a chart of accounts for a company called Bob's Concrete. And what we might remember from doing the balance sheet and creating forms is that the name of your company always goes on your first line and is centered. So we'll do that here. On the second line of any accounting form is always the name of your form. So in this case, it's going to be chart of accounts. Now, what you might remember is that on the third line is a date. With a chart of accounts, it's a little different because it isn't going to change. Once you number your accounts and set your system up, those accounts are always going to remain. So we don't need a date with our chart of accounts. So what we're going to do is work on our numbering. So we're going to put in brackets here 100. And we know that all asset accounts are going to be 100. So we're going to put our title here, assets. I'm going to put that in capital letters here. And then you'll see on my left-hand side, I've got two columns now. And so I'm going to list my assets, the number in the first column, and then the name of the account in the second. So we know all asset accounts are going to start with 100. And what we are going to do is our first account then will be 101. And that's always going to be cash. And then we can go our next asset account, again starting with 100 and showing that it is the second one, we'll put the number 2, is office supplies. And then our third, again, asset starting with 100 will be equipment. So no brain surgery. You'll notice that I'm just going in order that I listed them on, that they're listed on the assignment, and that'll be the same for you with the next assignment. And then our fourth one, so showing it's still an asset and it's the fourth asset account, will be our prepaid insurance. And I'm just going to abbreviate it there because the Apple Pen is fairly large. So the next part we want to list is our liabilities. You'll notice that I'm keeping liabilities on my left-hand side, and that's okay for a chart of accounts. You can have one complete list. It's because I am going to put my revenue and expenses on the right-hand side. So to show that I'm going to do liabilities, put my number for my liabilities there in brackets, then label it, capital letters. Okay, and we have two liability accounts. So to show it's a liability account, we'll start with 200 there. And to show it's the first one, we'll number it 201. And that's Unicon. And I'll just put an S for supplies. You will have more room because you're not working under these kind of conditions. You could write it all out there. And then our second liability account, so still in the 200s, and to show it's the second one, we'll just label it 202, and that would be home hardware. Okay, I'm just going to move our chart up a little. And then I'm going to do our third category, and capital is always going to be 300. And I can call it capital or I could call it owner's equity here. Either would be correct. Okay, and to show my first capital account, it would be 301. I'm going to put the owner's name, comma, to show it's the capital account. And at this point, we're going to have two capital accounts always. So 302 would be your owner's drawing account. All right, so we're going to go back up to the top. We've got our assets, liabilities, and capital here. So we'll work on our right-hand side. So our next category is going to be our revenue, and revenue is 400. And this company has one revenue account that they're using. So that number would be 401. And they call it concrete revenue. Okay, and because we just have the one revenue account, we'll go to our last classification, which is our revenue, which is in the 500 category, or sorry, expenses, which is 500. Okay, and our first expense account will be numbered 501, and it's equipment repair. It's really important that when you label your accounts, much like we did with the T accounts, that you are very precise. And so you should never just put equipment repair. It should always be equipment repair expense. Now you could abbreviate it and put EXP, but know that accounting is a very precise skill area, and therefore your teachers, when they mark assignments, because you wouldn't this wouldn't be allowed in the workplace to just put equipment repair, will mark it wrong. So always make sure you put that word expense there. Okay, and our second account we're given here is materials expense. So I'll just abbreviate it there, but I do have the expense there. And then our third one, staying in the 500 category, is fuel expense. And it seems to be a bit repetitious, always putting that expense down when we know we're in the expense category. But you're going to find that manual accounting is full of a lot of repetition. Okay, and 504 will be our advertising expense. All right, so and there you go, folks. There is your chart of accounts complete. So again, looking at what has to be on your form, you're going to always start with the name of your company at the top. On the second line, the name of the form that you are completing. And then you're going to have your headings. your classifications or your headings this time: assets, liabilities, owner's equity, revenue, and expenses. And you're going to put their classification number. So all assets are going to be numbered in the 100 level. All liabilities are going to be numbered in the 200 level, and so on. The first of the accounts in each classification is going to be given the number 1. So they're going to be given the last number of your numbering system is going to be the order that they are showing up on your chart of accounts. All right, so you guys have a very similar exercise to do for marks. Chart of accounts is one of your easiest forms to do. And let's get those great marks in there.